Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so nice to have you. I am always just absolutely delighted to share energy with a Scorpio, and today we have the universe card. So we're entering a period of time, it feels like, that is coming into its wholeness, right? I like to think of the universe card also as, when you go to a museum and maybe you've seen like a painting on your phone, on the TV in a movie or whatever, and you end up in the same city as this painting, and you go to the museum and you go to look at it, and you know it, you've seen it, right? But when you get in the same room as it, right, it has an energy that is maybe a surprise. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's what you thought it would be. But as you draw closer and you look more closely to the surface and you start to see the fragments, the details, the textures, the brush strokes, you might even see a little piece of brush hairs, right? Something, maybe some debris, something that's not supposed to be there, but it is there. And you look at it and you start to feel this thing in different sections, and the lighting and the movement of the lines and the composition in each part. And I'm thinking of like Bosch right now. If you've ever seen like the Garden of Delights, or, you could look at that thing all day long. It's like a Where's Waldo, like surreal, bizarro land, right? But even in paintings that are, supposed to kind of be maybe a more singular focused thing, you will find different zones and sections that feel different. They taste different. The flavor, the energy, it's just delightful. So you're standing there, you're looking at this, you're experiencing this beauty in so many different ways. Did you know you were going to feel this way? All of these different emotions and desires and wants and maybe even repulsions. And then you start to step back. You take one step back and you look, and you get a wider view. You step back again. Maybe you move to the right a little bit. Maybe you kind of stand on your tippy toes, or you kind of crouch down a little bit to get a different angle, and you start to look and you start to see the thing in its totality again. And now the personality seems even different this time. And so the universe card, the world card, it is so many things, right? It is Jacob's ladder. It is the staircase to heaven, right? It is the micro, it is the macro, and it is everything in between. It is the infinite. And we, my loves, are the little beauties that like to organize chaos, right? And that's what we're good at. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to turn this thing. We're going to knock on this thing. I'm going to make sure my watch is covered. I always just have this, like, probably irrational fear that, like, my location or, some personal identifying thing will be displayed. Which, you know, I'll tell you everything about my trauma, but man, I need some secrets, right? Okay, so, yes, Scorpio. We're here, we're doing the thing. I'm 5 minutes deep already. So we're going to get started. Also, I just want to say I love you. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, if you want to, if you have a prayer request, definitely put that in the comments, or you can email me. I get all kinds of emails of people, you know, giving their testimony, you know, asking for prayer. I just received the book this morning, somebody's PDF. I'm interested in checking that out later. You know, so definitely you can email me, ulaishere@gmail.com, if you don't feel comfortable putting it in, you know, the comment section. So anyways, I love you. Let's go. We have the number 9. Let me just tell you right down here, 9. It actually looks like 19 possibly, or 61 when we spin it. Also, we have 72 over here. 7-2, and it looks like 1-9. Okay. All right. Let's see. So we have a person over here who is sitting, has a hat on, very kind of zen. It feels very meditative. Now we have a little dog or a cat, probably a dog based on the tail kind of being lifted up like that right here. So I do feel that, oh, and look, it looks like they maybe have a little bit of, I don't know, food maybe in their lap. We also have a dog back here who looks like it's a guard dog. It looks angry. Up here we have, it looks like a person wearing a pointed hat, holding a wand, and on this arm it looks like they have a falcon. Now, they have maybe a dress or a robe on, okay? Up here we have the incomplete pyramid, right? Missing that capstone. And here we have a bird who is carrying, it looks like a money sign. That's what I'm going to go with. It looks like a heron or something like this. Maybe a stork. So let's go over these symbols. We'll start with this. Now, we also have, it looks like a fish right here. That's important because that's resources, money, you know, things that can be used in the material world to further your goals. So, I feel that there is a big call. The universe is not whispering. The universe is not asking. The universe is saying, get over here, right? Mom told you to go to bed like 4 times already. It is time for you to get over here, get cleaned up, and get in bed. Right? That's, I mean, I'm not saying really get in bed, but the universe is saying, honey, it's time for you to slow down. Honey, I think that you might need a nap. Honey, it's time for you to look at what's going on, how you're feeling, doing that self-checkout or checkup or body scanning as well. That's a good one. Really going over how you're feeling. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, checking in with yourself on all levels because you have been very busy. I can feel that you're worn out. I can feel that you have been frazzled, frustrated, you know, moments where there's a lull, you don't have anything going on, you're getting kind of bored. Next thing you know, there's 80 things. Just a deluge of can you, you know, will you, I need help, can you do this for me, can you do that for me, I need this right now, I'm sorry that you didn't have any more, you know, time to plan or whatever. It's just one thing after another, right? Which is, you know, usually pretty good for you. To be honest, Scorpio, you absolutely thrive when there's pressure. But you're also not always great, and I'm not trying to come down on you. And let me always qualify, I am a Virgo. We are your twins. You are the cooler twin. You are the more dominant twin. You are the more social twin. You know, but we are twins. So we have a lot of the same things. And sometimes it's hard for you to put things down. It's hard for you to, have a list of things and you see, okay, well, I have like 2 more on the list and it's like 11:30 at night and I need to be up at, 5 in the morning and I need to get to bed. But if I don't get these things done, then I'm not going to be able to settle down. My mind is going to keep going. So I'm going to put in another 45 minutes knowing that I need to rest. But here I am. I'm still going to do the thing. And that is just how we are. Virgos, Scorpios, we just, for better or worse, we'll push ourselves to the brink of burnout. Now, I feel like the universe is telling you, my love, my darling, my sweetheart, you beautiful being. I know you're tired. You know you're tired. You've been dropping things. You've been running into the door handles. You've been all the way out to the car, hands full of stuff. And then you, in your mind, visualize the keys are sitting on the counter. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't heed this call, the universe is going to be forced to intervene directly. And we don't like that, right? We don't like when the universe is like, okay, you need to slow down. It's time to take a nappy nap. You're starting to get a little frazzled. And you say, no, I don't need a nap, Mom. I'm fine. I can do this. I always cry in traffic. I'm always freaking out when, Subway forgets to put the mustard on my sandwich or whatever it is, right? These little things that set us off. But no, I don't need a nap. So what is the universe going to do? Yeah, they're going to it's going to be, you get sick, you get a cold, you're forced to stay in bed. The weather gets wild. You get forced to stay home. The power goes out. Work's canceled. You lose a day of money. Because the universe is going to intervene one way or another. If you are going to realize that it is the universe making you slow down or not, it will happen. So be your best friend and take it a little slower. I'm not saying you have to stay home all weekend and stay in bed, although that sounds pretty dope. But you need to slow down. And I say this with love. I'm always in mom zone. I know. I'm always telling people what to do. And I try to do it in the nicest way, but gosh dang it. All right. Now, I do feel that there's somebody in your life who is a very good friend. Somebody you are very close to. Something is going on with them. Okay? I feel that you will be leaning on each other. I almost wonder if there's going to be a period of time here where almost kind of they're going to need a meal train type of deal. If you don't know what that is, what do they call it in other places? I don't know. But it's if, for instance, somebody is going through a medical procedure, or somebody passes away in the family, you sign up within your friends group or community, or maybe it's through your, your religious community or whatever, and you sign up and people take turns bringing, casseroles or what we call hot dishes up here, or whatever kind of things. You bring the family meals. Okay. and the community gets together and does that. Now, I had never heard of this when I was, I'm from California. Now I live in the Midwest, and this is a very common practice. It is kind of weird. I live in a community where you help each other out, and then they help you out, right? Or you help them, they help you. And it's not about money or anything. And I'm always like, this is weird. This is so weird. People are nice. People are nice here. But yeah, so I think that this is like the energy of it. I don't think it's like you're like, they're moving in with you, like to that level. But I do feel like there's something going on with them. And I almost feel like it's with their kids for some reason. Maybe grandchildren. I don't know. But something's going on where they're going to need some assistance, help, support, from somebody that they love and who knows them and knows the situation. And I think that's going to be you. I feel like there's not even a thought. Like, of course you're going to show up. Now, we have that wizard over here with the bird who has the money and the capstone missing from the pyramid. So I do feel that there is a sense of like a project coming to an end soon. Almost, maybe it's... I want to say, I know I'm always going hard, like, you must own a business. I guess in my heart, I hope everybody is going into business for themselves. But I feel like there's some amount of innovation and creativity in your work, okay? I think that you've been put in charge of, if you don't have your own business where you're just self-led, I think you've been put in charge of kind of maybe rebuilding a system within the larger system. Like if you're an office manager, maybe you are, changing the way that you like do payroll or something. I don't know. Something that, it's not the whole system, but it is fundamental to the larger system. I feel like you're finding that you really excel in setting up systems. Like if you say that you have like a new, what is it called? The cash register system at like a, retail job or something, and you're the manager, and, you're the one that's really good at like getting people trained on these new systems or whatever. And you're good at troubleshooting and doing all of that. So I feel like you are the one that's like kind of put in this position, even if it's not exactly what your job description is. But I do feel like this is allowing for you to kind of put on display your varied abilities. Okay, so I do feel like there is news kind of coming towards you. Now, it's not immediate, but I do feel like soon, maybe a raise, maybe, getting a new position, working in a new department with a raise, by the way. Hopefully, right? I'm not giving you news here that you're just getting cross-trained to do more stuff for less money. I'm not allowing that. I would not give you that message. But no, I do feel like there's going to be this like, okay, we see this person really, is interested in taking on more responsibilities and that kind of thing, and being consistent and showing up and doing the thing. And, you're a Scorpio too, so probably you're networking and schmoozing and impressing people. You're obviously gorgeous and charming and smart and funny and, all the things. So I do feel like this is going to be a time where you're feeling, I I get like a lot of confidence. That's what it feels like, a lot of confidence. Also, big dog energy. Big dog energy up in this piece, right? I love it. I love it. So let's go ahead. I know, those two things seem so different. I'm like, the universe wants you to slow down. But then at work, right? And that's just the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes in our private life, if you think of your life as being like the foundational aspect, your domestic, your personal, your family stuff, as the foundational aspect, right? The thing that upholds, like if it were a pyramid, it's the wider bottom, and the work would be more towards the center. So it's the thing that really upholds the places where, yeah, you have to do work to make resources to get to that other level where you are able to do that interior work. You can do work towards not only like maintaining health, but also going beyond that and doing like special interests or, hobbies, traveling, whatever it is, more pleasure things or passion things. And so I feel like it's like slowing down in that foundational area in your life, going home, getting good rest, really investing in establishing and maintaining a healthy sleep cycle for you, whatever that looks like. I'm not saying there's any perfect way to do it, but we each know what we need. And I feel like for you, doing all these things within your personal life, maybe implementing some breath work, meditation, whatever, that is going to really uphold that space where you are progressing in your work life, which is going to take a lot of energy and a lot of mental power and fortitude. But I see that all coming together, okay? Now, I want to look over here. We have a person right here. You can see the head. This is the body. Here are the legs down here. Now, again, it looks like we have an animal. This one reminds me of maybe like I thought of a rabbit, honestly. I mean, it doesn't super look like one, but the little ear. And it reminds me of like when those jackrabbits kind of rear up and they like do the little slappy, they like fight each other. And then down here, we have a person that looks the hair is flowing, very elemental. We have another lake bird next to the fish. And then down here, it feels like we have people who are outdoors. It looks like they're all wearing capes. This one looks like it's wearing a cape right here. This person with their heads here, here's their body, a cape right here. This person looks like they have a cape on as well. Their hand is up and raised towards the bird. This is the bird, and this is the fish. So it tells me that we have this main goddess figure, this feminine energy, maybe the matriarch of the family, probably the one that is the decision maker, the one that's kind of leading things. But I also feel there's this great energy of fertility, of creativity, maybe even kind of aggressive. If you could think of this in like in a cycle, this would be kind of like that rising energy of like ovulation or coming into peak fertility and having that almost kind of, primal drive, right, to create during that fertility. And this doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be the actual, act of procreation. This can also be that, you're coming into an alignment where you're doing well at work you are getting rest and peace and feeling restored in your personal life. Things feel solid and good and inspiring and, restful. And then comes this other energy that's kind of, woven between the other things. And this is one of rising passion, one of inspiration, one of sensuality and lust and wanting to dance and make love and be deeply connected. And it doesn't have to be with another person. It could be with self. It could be with the muse, the daemon, the guardian angel, the divine, whatever deity that you are devoted to. It could be any of these things. But I do feel that you are in this place where you are thriving, you are creating, you are enchanted a little bit, in love a little bit, and all of this coming together into this sense of perfection. Okay, and that's where we get that universe energy. Now, in the lower quarters here, and I would say this is maybe the night side or the wilderness, the borderlands, I do feel that there is movement. Okay, so we have this energy of stealth elemental shifts, if that makes sense. So kind of unseen shifts in elemental aspects of your life. Okay, so fundamental aspects, and it's almost kind of that like imagery of the water runs deep, right? Or still water runs deep. Yeah, I think that's the saying. So what does that mean, right? So if you think of a lake, and you're looking at this lake, it's not like, a foot deep. Like, this is a lake, it's dang old deep. You're not going to get your feet on the ground by any means. And the water on top is just absolutely clear and still. There's no movement. You can't see the water flowing. There are no ripples, none of that. What does that mean? It means that likely beneath, I don't know how deep this lake is, but at some point somewhere there is a channel. There is a current. That's why people absolutely need to know how to swim and swim well in different kinds of water. Now, I grew up in the rivers of Northern California. Shout out to the American River, shout out to the Falcon River, not Falcon River, Feather River, my second favorite river, Sacramento River. I've swam in these. I don't know. I don't know if you can swim in them anymore, but I used to swim any day that it was warm enough. That or the lakes. Shout out to Folsom Lake. Shout out to Bucks Lake. These are my two favorites. But anyways, I am a firm believer. And I know it's not water. People don't have access to water, or, the resources to learn to swim, or the ability to learn to swim. I think a lot of times, it's the family. If your parents don't swim, you're probably not going to swim a lot, right? But I do feel like it's a really important thing to know how to do it, and not to just know how to do it in a pool. To do it in the river, in the ocean, in the lakes, But anyways, I ramble. So yes, there are currents beneath still waters, right? So we know that the elements are always shifting in our lives, right? We're always aware of that. You can see that throughout your day. How you feel in the morning might not be how you feel at, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, because things and variables and your energy levels, your blood sugars, your, whatever, all of these things are changing continuously. Nothing stays the same ever, right? So you can see throughout your day, your moods fluctuate, your interest fluctuates, whatever. There's movement. And here in the lower sectors, these more base energies, which makes sense to me here because you are in a place where you're finding balance and you are finding kind of this clarity in the higher spheres. It's going to be balanced out by the lower, more base impulses. So I feel that there is kind of this pulling into debauchery, and it is a distraction. Now, it's okay, of course, to seek pleasure and to be one that sometimes loses all inhibition. Nothing wrong with that. But when it is a hindrance to the work that we're doing, it's something that must be looked at. You must be very aware, right? And intentional about your decision making in this period coming up, because all of this is not promised to you, right? The success, the coming into balance, the inspiration, none of that is promised to you. You have to work for it, and you have to work to maintain it as well. So I think that's kind of the little note that the universe wants to give you. Now let's take a look over here. We have a cowboy kind of leaning up against the wall, and here's the little hat. So I feel like you had somebody in your life who I feel that they have transitioned, and they had a real thing at some point in their life. I'm imagining when they were young, and I'm imagining this is somebody maybe who was a child, maybe in like the 30s, the 40s, 1930s, 1940s, because they had such an interest in cowboys and trains, railroad type stuff. I wonder if this followed them throughout their lives and they continued to have these interests. Now, I do feel that they have transitioned. I don't feel like this is something that is new. They've been gone for at least a decade, okay? I'm wondering, why are you coming through, though? I'm gonna use the oracle cards over here. So I want some clarity about why? What do you have to say? Now, I have been working on some medium readings, mediumship and oracle readings. If you have seen those, thank you for watching. If you haven't, go check them out. I'm also going to be filming one right after this one. I always try to... I cannot ever get these lined up right to shuffle them. Look, it's just always a mess. I don't know why I even try. It just... it's ridiculous. I just usually just go like this. Let's get them all. Yeah, like that. So anyways, I want to see. This is our person who is, I think, a masculine person and lived a full life. They transcended when they were older. Beyond retirement. I think that they were far into retirement. So, let's see. What are they coming through for? Okay, so we have a bluff, acquisition, choice. Okay, so we have a bluff, acquisition, choice. So somebody's trying to, get over on you for some kind of business stuff. Business, family affairs, like an estate, something. So this family member, and I do believe this is a family member, I feel like it's coming through Let's see a little bit more. I want to see what it has to do with. Okay, so for independence, so I feel like there's a sense of, okay, so there's a sense of generosity and a want for you to have independence. Okay, so I'm wondering if there was like some money put aside and there's somebody in the family that is, I don't know if they're like, I'm gonna get a lawyer, I'm gonna, you know, whatever. We're gonna fight over this will kind of thing. Okay, so there's a want for order to be restored, of course. I think you're gonna be the one to make the choice about how to go forward. Again, decision, and it's not just like make a choice to like, you know, just give it all to them so they'll stop and everybody will be restored to peace and order and all of that. No, I think that you have to be very discerning. You're going to have to really kind of look at what the next move is going to be for you, because this person, and you know the person because I feel like it's family, is not going to give up. Not easily. Yeah, they have a great enthusiasm for this. And it's all about organization. So I'm guessing there's something in the paperworks. There's something within the stuff. There's something that is going to help your case, or, you know, your vision of how you should go forward. But you have to go through the stuff and you have to go through the paperwork carefully. One last one. Okay, eccentricity. I can never say that. Eccentric. Extra, or how do you say it? There's some word. I can say it sometimes because I've had to, but sometimes my brain just can't get there. I don't know. I can't say it. I'm not going to force myself. I'm not. Okay, we'll do one more. In resistance. Okay, so I just feel like there's such a sense of like, I imagine, I don't know. I'm not going to say that they're the eccentric ones. Maybe you are also consider yourself kind of eccentric. But I just feel like the behavior gets a little weird. Okay, a little bizarre. And I think you just have to like kind of navigate this like as the very nuanced situation that it is. But also to have, you know, that fortitude to go forward in the way that you think is best, because I do think that ultimately this person coming through, that was, you know, the cowboy, I feel like they are lending you their support, even though I don't think this is about their estate, because I think they've been gone for a while. I think they show up when you are having a hard time kind of deciding and sticking with it, because I think you just are so empathetic, and also you just don't want to cause problems within the family, because you can stay chill as heck a good portion of the time, but then once it gets to that point and they start to get disrespectful and that kind of thing, no. Like, you're not here to take on that kind of abuse. Like, you're not going to put up with somebody's, you know, and then once they've got you activated in that way, you know, you better watch out. So I do think for you, there is a real sense of just wanting to get this thing done, wanting to do it in the most, you know, fair way possible, but also to respect, you know, the wishes of your family member, and, you know, and also just, I don't know, yourself, right? You don't want to bend to somebody who's going to try to bully you every time something comes up, right? So, anyways, let's do our lucky numbers, and then we're going to get out of here. 100. And even 100. 79. 39. All right, 39, 79, 100. Where do you want to go? Right there? All right. Tea leaves everywhere. You can't really see this one. What? Tea leaves everywhere. Scorpio, I love you. I love you so much. And I thank you for being here with me. It's always a pleasure. It is an honor. If you'd be so kind to consider, you don't have to, but to consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving some kind of comment. Doesn't matter what it is. It helps the channel. It gets me into the recommends, and it grows. It grows the thing. So I really appreciate all of you that do those things or have done them in the past. Also sharing with your friends. If you like this reading, definitely find your friend or your mom's or your daughter's or your cousin or whoever it is. Find their sign and send them their reading. All right. I love you. We'll talk soon. Good night.